for the semi-finals. What a contest the Dutch put up. But in the end, spot kicks decide it. Spain are through. The Netherlands are out. Alex Kirkland stayed up late for us. He's in Spain. Come to you in a moment. Alex, it's good, wasn't it? Good game again.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think in defeat and going out, Holland can take a lot out of the two games they've played against arguably the best team in the world, certainly in Europe. Certainly one of the youngest, most talented in Spain, not going anywhere. And it looked early on to me that Spain were going to run away with this. But there was some changes made, and the Dutch have got a little bit more steel about them. And I have to say, Koeman's done a good job with this Dutch squad. The game in Rotterdam was excellent. This game was probably even better. You know, Spain's deficiencies at the back, I suppose, in terms of allowing the space and allowing the Dutch back into the game. But again, we know Spain are a good side. We know they have all these talented players. But I think what we learned from the two games more is that actually the Dutch are starting to find their feet again. And they could be back to sort of mixing it amongst the big boys. Koeman's done a good job, but they're out. Yeah,
Craig makes a fair point. There was almost kind of an inevitability about it. Once Spain opened the scoring, you think, here we go. They're going to run away with this now. But the Dutch put up a good fight.
Yeah, on Spanish soil as well. And that's absolutely right. Listen, reigning European champions in Spain, once they took the lead, you think they're going to absolutely run away with this. But this is certainly a different Dutch team than maybe what we're used to. If Ronald Koeman can keep the squad together, we know the Dutch at times can be their own worst enemy. But they show that they're talented. I don't think that's ever been in question. But certainly have a bit of steel about them, a bit of fight about them, and it showed. With quality, that came to the fore despite the likes of Memphis Depay now playing his trade down in South America. Just continues to be a bright spark for this Dutch side.
Alex, you take a look at the celebrations from the Spanish after the game. It just showed how seriously they're taking this competition.
Yeah, there's also a lot of pressure on Spain these days. They set the bar so high winning the Euros last year. Everyone knows they're one of the best teams in the world. Everyone expects them to play well and to win playing well as well. These are two really tough ties. I think they weren't at their best collectively in either leg. They weren't at their best collectively tonight. But what they've got is players of the quality of Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams who can make the difference. Twice it looked like those two had sort of stepped up and won the game for Spain. Nico setting up the second goal for Yarzabal, Lamine scoring the third. Both times they got pegged back. It went all the way to extra time and penalties, as you saw there. Atmosphere at Mestalla looked and sounded incredible. 48,000 people there. Unai Simon making the big save, and then Pedri with the penalty. But there is an expectation around this Spain team now, because, like I say, because of what they've done in the last year. People expect them. And the Nations League record is superb. They've been into the Final Four on all three occasions in the last few years. They're there again. They might not have been. Netherlands pushed them all the way. And like I say, I think it was very evenly matched over the two legs, but they're there thanks to the quality of those key players.
They'll be kicking themselves. In Rotterdam, they had the sending off in the second half, and then
the late goal,
crazy challenge. And then the late goal from Mikel Merino. And injury time just made it that little bit tougher. But I was surprised. Alex, what was the situation with Pedri not playing tonight? Bearing in mind his form at Barcelona has been terrific. Was this just giving him a bit of a rest, or was he actually just left out the side?
He has been playing a lot of football. I think that Luis de la Fuente really likes Fabian Ruiz. He really likes him as one of the midfield two alongside Zubimendi. We know that Pedri has sort of changed his position a bit for Barca, hasn't he, this season, where he's been playing a bit deeper for Barca in a midfield two. For Spain, he's still considered more of a number 10. They went for Dani Olmo. I think he was trying to manage his minutes a little bit. I think he was recognising that he's been playing a lot of football. He needs a break. Of course, he's got this game for Barcelona coming up on Thursday, that rescheduled game in La Liga. So I think it was about managing his minutes. But like I say, there's competition for places in this midfield, especially with Fabian, which is the position that Pedri would be playing for Spain if he was playing the same way that he is for Barcelona. But De La Fuente really likes Fabian in that position.
120 minutes for Lamine Yamal as well. We learned that he can't take penalties, but he can score some great goals still.
Well, you know, he wanted to give Pedri a rest, but he needed Lamine Yamal to stay all the way. But he's nugget in this story is if you get 1-on-1, you're probably screwed against him. You've got to get doubled up when you're playing Lamine Yamal. Teams try and do that, but when the ball's so quick over the top and you don't have time for teammates to come across and help you, he can go both ways. But once he gets it onto that left foot and that space opens up, how many times over the last 18 months, for club and country, have we seen him, make those opportunities for himself, but not all the time, but more often than not, actually pick out that corner. Mm-hmm. He does it with great authority and almost consummate ease. We see, we've criticised a lot of players over the piece about end product. And yeah, he doesn't score every time he comes on that left foot. But you very rarely see him make the chance for himself and then shovel it like 10, 15 yards wider over the bar. He generally either makes the goalkeeper work or he finds the corner. That is just, of course he's sublimely confident because he's playing so well even as a teenager. But that is somebody who's just got so much confidence in their ability. And as I said, he's probably one of the toughest players in the world at the moment to mark one-on-one. And unfortunately, that's what happened to Maatsen there. And the end result was just a great goal.
Alex, anything you'd like to add on this game before we let you go?
The other one, you mentioned him there, is Dean Howson, and a lot of excitement here about him and what he can bring to this Spanish team. It looks so natural, fits right in, great on the ball. We know the Spanish love a ball-playing centre-back. You watch him sometimes, there's a little bit of Gerard Piqué about just how comfortable he is on the ball, his range of passing, picked out some brilliant passes tonight, and he came into the team and the squad at the last minute, drafted in, was with the under-21s, was brought in due to Inigo Martinez's injury. I think he's here to stay now. He looks like very much a future part of this Spain team. A lot of excitement about him here.
Thank you. Alex, I'm a bit concerned that you've kind of gone to the Shaka school of growing a beard in that you can't.
I just had a weekend off, a couple of days off, and I haven't shaved, Dan. Simple as that. I'll shave next time, okay?
Yeah, that'd be much appreciated. Thank you very much.
You don't like anybody who doesn't grow a full beard, do you?
No, you want a proper beard, don't you? Not, look,
All right, I'll show you.
Shaka, we know you can't. We've seen
You
it.
just wait.
It doesn't join up.
You just wait. My beard's coming.
Yours is the only... I'm not even going to say
Alex, thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. Just a reminder, of course, a busy weekend in La Liga. It all starts for me and Craig on Thursday. Barcelona taking on Osasuna. France advance then on penalties to the semi-finals. Croatia are out. Julien Laurens joins us. Jules, how was that for you?
It was much better than Thursday to start with, Dan. So much better. I mean, we talked on Thursday night about how bad that performance was, how bad the decision, the choices from Deschamps tactically in that first leg were. Everything went pretty badly in that first leg. The second leg was so much better. To start with, the team that Deschamps picked this time was the right one. It worked. They had a lot of shots that we just saw on the graphic with all the stats. 28 shots, I think 8 on target. Livakovic was amazing again for Croatia in goal. And in the end, I think they deserved to go through, even if they had to go through a very eventful penalty shootout. It was still a deserved win, I think, for the French.
Kylian Mbappe, how would you rate his performance in this, Jules?
I thought it was interesting, Dan, that 7 games in a row now he doesn't score for the national team. This is the longest drought ever for him. He's never stayed that long without scoring, but he did a lot of really good things tonight. We saw a bit in the highlights, some of the really good shot that he had, and Livakovic again was very good tonight. And I felt he led by example really, really well. Okay, there was no goal in the end. He's involved in the second goal because he's 1-2 with Olise, then creates the chance and the goal for Dembele, the second goal. So I felt he was really good. I like the front four. I like the Dembele, Mbappe, Olise, Barcola front four. Then Desiré Doué came on the left hand side. Was really good for his first game really for France. So there's something really interesting in there. We just have to hope that Deschamps stops thinking that a very old school diamond midfield is the way forward. Or this is much better. A double pivot, a front four that can combine well, that can also work hard to recover the ball. And then we saw the counter pressing tonight for France was quite efficient at times. So there was really a lot of positive. And I guess even if Kylian didn't score tonight, I think his game was still good.
How big a deal is this for France, Jules?
They tried before the game to say, well, it's just the Nation League. We've heard that so many times, right? But you saw at the end how much it meant to them. It's a semi-final now against Spain, back in Germany, exactly where Spain beat us in the semi-final of the Euros in the summer. So it'd be very interesting to see what has changed in the space of a year, really, between July 2024 and June 2025. We will see if we can have more control. I agree with what Craig said on the Spain-Netherlands game. if you open the game for Spain, it makes it a great game. It's very entertaining, but then you expose yourself a lot, and they're so good going forward and attacking you. So you need a bit of control, but you also can't sit too deep because they will punish you as well. So it'd be very interesting how Deschamps approached that game against Spain. But it's a great challenge, really, for this French team.